Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. If you haven't done so already, please check out my other social media pages and subscribe to my channel. In today's video, I'll be comparing Prismacolor Premier pencils and Polychromos. As you can see here, I'll be drawing the same cat eye with both brands, and I'll be giving you some information about the brands that I noticed while drawing, but also research since I'm new to Polychromos. I hope you enjoy the video. Here are some facts. Prismacolor are wax-based and Polychromos are oil-based. What this means is Prismacolor is more smooth and soft, whereas Polychromos are quite hard. You can definitely feel a slight difference in them while you draw. They are both great at layering down multiple layers, as you can see here, and just so you know, the paper that I'm using is Strathmore colored pencil paper. I find that there is a little texture in the paper, but you can get a great outcome with both brands. Detail is a big thing for me, and being that I've used Prismacolor since 2018 for creating pet portraits, I find that you can create amazing work with this brand. You do see more texture of the paper and get a fuzzy edge on fine lines, but if that's the look you're going for, then that is fine. If you don't want a fuzzy textured look, then you'll have to add many layers and blend them together a little more. With Polychromos, I was shocked that I was able to get more details and more crisp lines for fur texture without trying as hard. I will be using both brands in the future as I like the look and feel of both. I would recommend using Prismacolor for human portraits or anything with a smooth blending. I say that just because they blend together so well, and they can do that because they're on the soft creamy side. I have on my 2021 calendar to practice human portraits, and I can't wait to practice with Prismacolor. Polychromos, on the other hand, would be great for animals just because I find that you can get great fur detail with them without trying as hard. I have in the past used solvent when creating animal portraits. Both brands work very well when you put solvent on top of the color layers. When using solvent, you can get a more vibrant look in the pencil colors. Prismacolor is a little bit more vibrant when you use solvent. What is so great about using solvent is that you can add more layers on top and more details on top. Both do very well when you varnish. Prismacolor is a little better at varnishing just because they are on the creamy side. Polychromos, you have to work a little harder. And what varnishing is just adding a hard pressure to the pencils to flatten out the tooth of the paper, which just means you're getting rid of the white dots that show when you draw, and you get more of a solid looking color. It is also a lot harder to add layers on top, so using a solvent would come in handy here. That is why you want a brand that works well with varnishing and with solvent. Prismacolor has a larger range, 150 plus in color, and Polychromos has 120 plus. So both brands have a large color selection, but I find that you don't actually need a large range of color to create an amazing look. You just have to know how to blend the colors together. Vibrancy is a good thing to know. You want to know how vibrant and pigmented they will be. Both brands are very pigmented and vibrant in color, so that is something you don't have to worry about. I used less colors with Polychromos and still got a similar outcome to using more in Prismacolor. Both turned out amazing in their own ways. As for the wax bloom, Prismacolor has a bad wax bloom, whereas Polychromos doesn't have wax bloom. What wax bloom means is when you leave your drawing for a while, it creates a white transparent film on top that you have to wipe off. Next is light fast. This is important if you want to sell your artwork. This just means how fast your colors will fade. I personally haven't had any issues with Prismacolor when it comes to this, but I have used a fixative and keep my drawings out of direct sunlight. Since I'm new to Polychromos, I haven't had the chance to test it out for myself, but I've read that they have very good ratings when it comes to light fastness. Now when it comes to the price of the pencils, it can be a shock. Prismacolor are on the cheaper side, and if you are a beginner, you might want to start with these. You can get the 48 Prismacolor set for around $70 Canadian, and I paid 94 Canadian for the 36 Polychromos set. If you want to go cheaper than that, I recommend Arteza, but that's for a different video. Now on to pencil quality. You can see when using Prismacolor, it is slightly on the cheaper quality side. I have heard a lot of people say they break easily and don't hold their sharp point for long, or the point breaks off when sharpening. I have to agree, they don't hold their sharp point for long and they can break very easily. Again, I'm new to Polychromos, but from what I can tell, they are better quality and don't break as easily. I notice they hold their sharp point a little longer as well. When looking at the two, you can see Prismacolor are smaller and aren't sealed at the end. With them being thinner, it means they can shatter easily when you drop them. Whereas Polychromos are thicker and the end is closed off, so you can't see the lead inside. That might mean nothing to you, but if you are paying more for the pencil, then I do hope they are a little better in quality. When working with colored pencils, you might notice smudging from moving your hand on accident. It is very hard to erase smudges from your artwork, and that's why you want a brand that doesn't smudge, or you just put paper under your hand while you draw. I notice when it comes to Prismacolor, you don't get much smudging unless you use red. I find red can smudge a lot more than any other color I've used. With Polychromos, there was also a little smudging, but I haven't tested the red color. Now let's talk about the white pencils. I personally like to apply white down first when blocking in lighter areas. I also use white to blend the colors together or to add light fur lines to darker areas. Prismacolor layers onto white well, but after a while the other colors can overpower the white layer. When it comes to the white pencil itself, Prismacolor has a very opaque white and goes on top of dark areas well. Even after I use fixative, it can go on top to create more crisp white lines and can help with adding more details. I noticed with Polychromos that layering colors on top of the blocked white areas, it does much better than Prismacolor. But when it comes to blending out with the white, it can fade the colors out more, which just means you have to go over it again with colored pencils. Now, when it comes to adding in more white details to darker areas, I struggled a lot with Polychromos white. So in the end, I think Prismacolor is the better option for myself to add white details on top of the other layers, but Polychromos has a better white for blocking in the white layers when I first start. Hopefully with time and practice, I will get better with Polychromos white for adding details on top of the other layers. In the end, it is up to you on what brand you like the best, but from what I can see is that both brands are amazing to use. You can create amazing work with both brands and get a similar outcome. In the end, you have to decide if you want to spend the money and get a better quality pencil, then pick Polychromos. If you can't afford them, then go with Prismacolor. I personally like them both and can't wait to create new things in 2021 with these brands. For your information, the following two videos will be how I drew the cat eye with both brands and the colors that I picked. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please subscribe and make sure you hit that like button. Also, leave a comment down below on the brands of pencils you like to use and why. I'll see you in the next video.